Hey friends, welcome to day 6 of the 12 days of tools. Thank you for joining me along my journey of what I feel you should have in your home, or any homeowner should have these basic tools in their home. And today you might be a little bit surprised with my recommendation, but I recommend a hacksaw. So a hacksaw is a versatile tool. It's relatively inexpensive. You can get them for under $20, definitely under $40. And there's a lot of reasons why you may require a hacksaw. And we're going to go over some of those reasons and some of the benefits of what the hacksaw can offer for you today. So there's lots of types of saws on the market, and I'm just talking about mechanical, like hand used saws, not electric or battery operated. These are just ones that you need to push back and forth. And there are lots of them, and when people think of a saw, they usually think of these back saws. And you know, they're really fun. I haven't taken a lot of care with this particular saw because honestly I got it more for its looks than for its versatility for what it's used for. With saws, there's teeth that actually some bend that way when you look closely, and some bend that way, and they've got to sharpen them, you have to sharpen them on an angle depending on which way the tooth moves, or the tooth is facing. So there's a lot of consideration when keeping a saw up to date. You have to keep it oiled. I just like it for the looks. I think I've actually only used it once. Something that I do use is this drywall saw. So if I'm going to do a repair in a person's house and I just need to repair one little piece of drywall, you know, this saw, you just push through the hole and it cuts the drywall. It's got a very specific purpose for it. Another specific purpose type of saw is this coping saw. And if you're doing some arts and crafts and you want to make some decorative wood, then you know this is the kind of handsaw that you would use, because it's got very precise, got a super thin blade, really similar blade to the hacksaw, but it will, you know, make curvy type of cuts for you. To the opposite of the curvy type of cuts is this miter saw, and it sits in a box and it can cut a perfect 90-degree angle for you. And that's its purpose, is to cut either 90-degree or 45-degree, and this is for when you're using trim, whether it's door trim or floor molding, floor trim, wainscoting. That's what the purpose of this particular saw is. There's a new one that's available in North America that hasn't been around all that long, and it's this Japanese type saw. It's very flexible, and it's used to cut off, to make flush surfaces. So if you've got a dowel protruding, you'd use this right along the surface and it would give you a nice flat surface. So again, I got this more for the novelty of it than for the practicality of it. One saw that I do use all the time and I carry in my truck and I have in my workshop is the hacksaw though. So when would a homeowner need a hacksaw? Lots of reasons. So it can cut through, unlike all these saws that are specifically meant for wood, this can cut through wood. It can also cut through plastic. It can cut through metal. It can cut through foam. So it's multifaceted in what you would want to do. So if you've got a little piece of trim that you want to fix over your door, your hacksaw is all you really need to cut through it. If you're hanging a curtain and your pole is a little bit too long, you can pull out your hacksaw and cut that off to size. If you've got shelving in your pantry that maybe is a little bit too tall and you need it shaved down a couple inches, the hacksaw will definitely get through that. If you've got a large piece of foam that you're trying to fit into a window, this is my canoe car, I'm not going to cut this one, but it'll cut through foam quite easily as well. The beauty with hacksaws is it's a disposable blade. So the blade is quite thin and it's quite narrow this way. You know, most of the other saws had quite a profile to them, where this one is just a little guy. So it comes with, all hacksaws pretty much have the same functions, where one end can be taken off. So there's a wing nut holding this particular model on. I'll just loosen this wing nut quite a bit, and you can see here, once I have enough tension off of the blade, it just comes right off. So that's your hacksaw blade right there. And you can buy a package of 2, 10, or 20, depending on how many, you know, what kind of work you're doing. And when it's stops doing its purpose, you literally take it out, dispose of this safely, and put a new one in. Hacksaws do come in different lengths, so you want to make sure you get the right length for whatever your saw is. But this is the replacement for the hacksaw. So we're going to put this little guy back in here, make sure he's facing around the right way, and I'm going to put the blade back on. When you get the blade, a lot of times when you get it home, the blunt side will be on the working side. So you're going to have to take it off to flip it around so that the working side is the sharp side. So we're going to put our holes, let's see how well I can do this under pressure, just like yesterday when I got my ratchet kind of the wrong way. We'll get these lined up just so. We'll put our holes on those pegs. Put it down so it's not suspended on me. That might be a little bit better. Maybe I shouldn't have taken it off, right, ladies? There we go. And then we tighten the wing nut until you can't turn it anymore, and that's going to keep your blade taut. It's really important that you keep your blade taut. Then it won't move back and forth this way when you cut something. Now, something you got to consider and keep in mind when you're using a saw, it's a saw. It's dangerous, very dangerous. So what I recommend is having a good pair of work gloves with you, and maybe even a clamp when you're sawing things. Something that can happen with saws, there's a term called skating. So when you go and cut something, specifically metal, when you draw your saw across it, what happens is it'll move sideways on the blade just a little bit, and it could get into your hand. So that's why you want to wear a glove, just to protect your fingers, especially on the hand that you're using your saw on. And you know, let's just give you a quick demonstration on how quick this can actually cut. You see right here, and just a small piece of molding that I put around a door. There you go. And that's how quick you can cut through a piece of wood. You don't need anything special or anything big, and it's a task that you can definitely do at home. So thank you for joining me today. That's my talk on hacksaws. I'd love to know, do you have a saw? Have you ever used a saw? Have you ever considered using a saw? It's something that definitely is within anybody's scope of home ownership that they can accomplish. Thank you for being with me on day 6 of the 12 Days of Tools. Tomorrow will be, tomorrow's Friday, and we're going to talk about a really interesting tool, and I look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to put them in the comments, and have a great day. Bye for now.